Today is November the 16th, 2020. This is the Service Hero Show 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter, and I am your host. This is the show that shares inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. It's an exciting day. A day that actually for a couple of years we have been working towards, and we are going to be on the Service Hero Show today, Monday, and again on Wednesday. This beautiful, shiny, smiling face of a service hero, Susan Burch, and others are going to be joining us because we have something really very fun. And I mean, I'm so excited. I'm like ready to bust. However, I'm going to share just a little clip, just a little dancing video, and then we're going to talk, okay?
Love it.
We have a book we're going to be releasing. And I love that little dancing video because it's like, kind of feels a little like the last couple of years. You know, you work towards something and it's kind of like in pieces, and then it's coming together, and then it's kind of upside down and all around. And then all of a sudden, there it is, right?
Yeah, a collaborative book is always amazing, but it's also always a little crazy because you're pulling so many people's stories and collaborating with so many people. But we have some amazing people we get to be together, you know, in this book with. And I can't wait for each of their stories to come out, especially yours, Tamara.
Well, thank you. I'm excited about all of them. And good afternoon, Carol Brown-Berzins. She is one of our senior ambassadors and one of the producers of this show. She is reminding everybody, and we're going to be talking about this today, that the E360 TV platform is where we are streaming live this show from. And we have a huge show that is starting 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today, 36 hours of programming. And this is going to be our third annual. You were there on the very first annual. You were there for the second annual. And we are going to be live on web TV this year for the third annual event. So I want everybody to make sure you have your E360 TV app on your phones, on your web TVs, on your computers, just everywhere. Have it ready to go. And thank you for letting us know that the sound is good. That's important. And let's see what else she has to say. If you're right, the app, thank you very much. And yes, we will be going live on November the 30th, which is 2 weeks from today. So we decided, Susan, I'm going to introduce everybody because not everybody may know you. However, you have been on the Service Hero Show. You have been a part of the telethon, then given the name Giveathon, to benefit the buddies, cb4l.org, for a while. However, let's start at the beginning so those that don't know who you are have a bit of an idea. You and I met each other. Oh, wow. It just seems like yesterday, and yet now it's been a few years, and it was in Southern California, and all of a sudden we realized we had so many different things in common, and then just, I don't know, you were like my sister that I've been looking for, you know, that family member that I knew was out there, needed to be found, and you know, there you are. Let's go into who is it that you are, and then we're going to go into what it is we're going to be announcing today and talking about.
Awesome. Well, I am a book publisher. My company is Hawaii Way Publishing. Hawaii stands for Health and Wealth and Inspired Ideas. And we love to help people take their book from conception to completion. And I am so excited about this book. It's going to be amazing. I also am a cancer warrior mama. So my daughter at 10 years old she was diagnosed with a cancerous brain tumor. And we went through that entire year of treatments and therapies and radiation and everything that you go through, and all that encompasses cancer. So what you are doing is so important to me, and I just completely am behind you in everything you do. I'm so grateful for it, because truly I could not have, as a caretaker, have gotten through that experience. I'm going to cry.
I know, I already am starting to. Yeah.
Without my connections, and the mothers that I connected with, the people around me, those who supported during that time, they just lifted us up and got us through that. And to find people to be those people for others is so important, especially right now when everybody's struggling. Even if you don't have something traumatic in your life like cancer, on top of the trauma that's just happening worldwide. So I appreciate so much what you are doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And Spence Rose out of the Chicagoland area. Trapper Rose is also known as. So glad you're here with us. And always love the hearts, love the love. And in fact, that's a big reason why we're doing what we're doing with announcing the book and the release date, which I have to say that I'm grateful, and it might sound interesting to some people that understand the whole process of books and publishing and everything, but however, I am grateful that it took us a little time to get this up and going, and it's amazing, and it never ceases to amaze me how the universe and whatever your belief system is, how there is truly a perfect timing. And some of the people that might have been involved with this from the very beginning may say, well, it's taken a while. Why? And I'm thinking, wow, I've had an amazing lesson on an appreciation of what the steps are to produce book that is going to, we're going to work on this to become a best-selling book, to then be able to get out, not only to, if you will, have a bestsellers sticker, because that's great and wonderful and everything. However, really putting together quality stories and stories that work together, that are going to help those that right now, again, it couldn't have been a better time for us to be releasing a book of stories. And I know some of the stories I cannot wait to learn or read. I know about the people, but I haven't read their stories. To be able to say to the world, you can do it. There's no mountain that you can't master, right?
Yeah. It's interesting because it did take, what we did is we put two of our book projects together to make this happen, because, one of them was on stall. And so I'm so grateful because the stories mesh together so well. And I have had so many of our authors that were waiting who said, this could not have happened at a more perfect time. And in fact, I don't think I've told you this, Tamara, but one of our authors, her husband is an author in the book as well, who has passed away, and this book is dedicated to him. And we have a dedication at the end of the book for him. And she said, it's so amazing that it's on the 18th. And our process of getting to this. And,
oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
You think it would be almost random, but she said the 18th is, when he first started his journey, his cancer journey, and the 18th is when he passed away. And it was also the day that his son was diagnosed with diabetes years before. So to them, they always tried to make that a happy day. and a celebration of the son's life. And now they do that with both of them, the son and the father. And so the 18th, is very, very important. And it's also my birthday is the 18th, not November 18th. But, it's just amazing to me. Those are beyond coincidences. To me, that's God letting us know that he's there and he's in the details. Those type of numbers, to me, that's what it represents to me. And so I've had so many, and other people saying, I needed this more than ever to get my story out, or I know this is going to help people more than ever because we're doing this right now. So I appreciate you pushing it forward and doing as much as you have to get it out there and to tell people that we're doing this and to make it sure that this happens,
Well, it's my pleasure. And when you think about the numbers, and there's a whole it's really interesting because I just did a podcast with Liza, and she is a specialist when it comes to numbers and everything, and I'm going to be pushing that information out here in the next day, or actually I think today, Spirit In, and she was going about how numbers are really much more important to a lot of people than people know. And when you were saying that, all of a sudden I thought, oh wow, when you add the 1 and the 8 together, that's 9. That's my lucky number, and I'm thinking, wow, I would never have thought of that,
and 18 is my lucky number, so it just happened on the perfect day, I think.
I love it. So I know that we've got a lot of different things going on right now, and we have one more person that's going to be joining us in just a few moments, guys. And so in the meantime, what I would like to be able to do is share a video about the two of you, and to give a little bit more insight. And what this video is, it's kind of the culmination of where this started, how this started, what this program, how does a book like this get off the ground, and how do you even come up with the idea? And so this little video here kind of shows the ground floor of where this all started. So here we go.
I've spent 25 years listening to thousands of speakers, looking for the best of the best. Of all these, I handpicked this lineup of amazing speakers because I knew that they would bring it and that they would put it all on the line with their heart and soul to create an amazing experience for our attendees. In addition, all of the presenters are passionate about helping small businesses and entrepreneurs succeed and take the time on and off the stage for every attendee to get what they need to go to that next level.
I'm so excited to have you join us. What made you think of Hawaii Way Publishing, and what drives you?
Sure. I had something happen in my life that really propelled me to want to serve others. And one of the things, I was writing my own story and had published a children's book, and then I helped a couple of friends get their books published as well, and had a phenomenal team that was helping me do that. And had people coming to me and finally realized, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And so Hawaii Way, it stands for Health and Wealth and Inspired Ideas. And it really is about, helping people and changing people and getting the stories that inspire me out into the world. So yeah, Hawaii Way Publishing.
So Health and Wealth and Inspired Ideas.
Yeah. Daughter had cancer 10 years ago. And like I said, I was writing my story. I'd always helped my father, who's a playwright, and I was his editor. I did a lot of, help with the content and all of that. And so I had been doing that since I was a young girl.
And speaking of, we have Jennifer right here. And Jennifer, I am so glad to have you with us. We were talking about the evolution of how we've gotten to this day. And Monday the 16th, and preparing for the big day, which is November the 18th, this coming Wednesday. And in regards to a book that we all ended up coming together and being a part of, and the evolution of how amazing timing is, and how it really is not an accident when you really look at the big picture of things, and how it can be for such a divine purpose, and you don't know those answers until you get them. And right now, being a time in the world that we can definitely use this book, these stories, and how, and that's why I'm telling the story today of the two of you, how you guys came up with this. You are the main author on it. It is your project, Jennifer, and Susan, you are the publisher. And you were kind enough to both put me on the cover of the magazine with my name on the cover. Wow. Kind of exciting about that. And so wanted to share that video, and here you are. It's so wonderful. Welcome, Jennifer. You are, now let's talk about where you guys are right now. I'm in the Southern California area. Susan, where are you?
I'm actually in Central California, right next to the Sequoia National Park.
Ooh, nice area. And Jennifer?
I'm in the Northern Nevada, Sierra Nevada community, so Tahoe, Reno area.
Beautiful areas, beautiful areas. So we're basically in the western part of the United States. However, we are streaming live throughout the world. And these stories that have come together with this book, I would love to hear from the two of you. I know there was a little bit that for the interview that I had captured, you guys went into the fact that you had started one book together and were able to get that book to a bestseller status. And that book was a very meaningful book for you, Jennifer, because you had your children in the book and yourself and telling the stories. And that took place at the event that was highlighted just now on the video. I'd love to hear from the two of you how from that book, the idea of mastering our mountains started, and then now how we are looking at and launch for Wednesday.
Well, it's kind of a heart project, and I can give full grace and thanks to our amazing Miss Susan Burch. She allowed me the space to dream, come up with, and create the Tigger moments in life. We've joked about that in the past. I come up with ideas and say, hey, I've got this great idea. And she's really amazing as a partner to take the idea and say, I think we can do something with that. So it actually came to fruition when we were up in Lake Tahoe originally. I was looking around thinking, this is my backyard. I hike. This is what I do. And I listened to her on the stage and went, oh, that's what Hawaii Way Publishing is. I had only met her. I fell in love with her energy, and I asked her to join. And so in the back of my mind, I kept thinking it would be amazing if I could do something over the period of time, pulling in amazing people who have mastered a mountain. So when I have a challenge, I call it a mountain, because when I was a child and I had issues or questions or challenges of any kind that I maybe couldn't handle, I would look at the mountain that I looked out of our front yard, and I would often just take off and go scale the mountain. And by the time I came back down, I was either too exhausted to be upset about it or I had some solutions, and that was my thing. And so I had this amazing mentor down the way. I had all these things, and it was just tools in a toolbox as a young child to be able to get through some of the things that I went through in my childhood. So for me, the Mastering My Mountains was deep and incredibly helpful for me. So mastering our mountains, as we were in Lake Tahoe looking around, I went, that's where we need to go with this. And so it's really just about looking at the mountain of whatever's in front of you and how do we get there. So I ran it across Susan's beautiful ears, and she said, I like the idea. Launch, specifically the one you were talking about, launch was amazing. Launch was about letting your adversities that held you back and that hurt you propel you forward. Mastering Our Mountains is very similar because it's a heart project as well. But for me, it was when you're looking at anything, something in front of you, and you're going, okay, how do I do that? It doesn't mean you had to go through adversity to get there. But if you did, it makes it even sweeter when you get to the top and you master that mountain. So I liked the idea of the Master Our Mountains, and so it worked out beautifully. And she took the challenge and made it amazing. So I couldn't thank you enough for that. And the launch, of course, was very special, yes, because of the kids. But this one's incredibly special because we actually have Chase on this one. So I didn't even realize when it happened that this is the way it would turn out. So what an incredibly synergistic, amazing series of events that's happened to pull us together. And there she is. I mean, what a story, what a gal, what an amazing woman. On the phone earlier when I was rolling in, I said, sometimes strong women have daughters with challenges because we have to have strong daughters with challenges. So I think that that's the way it was given. We sometimes look at things as a curse or a blessing, and I look at it as a blessing for the world that our strong daughters with these amazing strong women in front of us have the ability to hopefully create cures and move mountains in the medical world as well, because our daughters have challenges.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And season Chase B, guys, clue, wink, wink. Season's last name is Burch B. So Chase is your daughter.
Exactly.
And she now has a different name. A lot of really great things are happening.
Yes, so Chase was diagnosed when she was 10. Yeah, she's graduated from college. She has been married. She's gotten married, I think, 2 years ago. And she's doing fabulous. She's working on becoming an ASL translator. So she wants to become an interpreter. So she's working hard at that. And she has her own YouTube channel. She just does some amazing things. So yeah, she is doing fabulous. I'm so incredibly grateful for her.
And she's amazing.
She's
working with you in the publishing business, isn't she?
She is. So she actually she does a lot of the editing. She does a lot of the behind the scenes. She's fantastic. She's my head editor, and she's working on becoming my co-publisher. So we're moving that. I have a lot of other projects that I do, so I'm moving those things to her. And so she's taking off with it. She's so good at the details. And she's done it for years. Since she was 15, she's been my assistant. So she's doing great. Yeah. And this book wouldn't have happened without her.
So third generation
of writers. Yes. Yeah. My father was actually a playwright, as I said. That was a fantastic video too. Thank you. I hope Jen got to see it. I know she was trying to get on because she had something that came up that was very pressing. So, but I hope that you get to see
a very last
because she put a beautiful video together.
Oh, awesome.
Go ahead, Jennifer. You're mentioning and I love this, and I see many that are coming on right now that are interested in writing, that are currently in the process of putting together their story. One of which has a goal, and she's going to be doing a little ebook before the end of the year. I'm so proud of her, Carol Berzins, and we have Sherry that is getting to be a part of a book project, and she's been putting her story together. And there's many that are out there right now, because this is a period of time in the world that, we think nothing of the fact that we've got these phones. We think nothing of the fact that we can do a Zoom. We think nothing of the fact that we can do a online show. However, I don't know that until you get in the middle of it, that we need to think nothing of the fact that now we can have a published story. We can have a published story that when you really go to the heart of the matter, will live forever in a book, right?
Right.
Exactly. I always say that there's very few things that we get to leave behind and that live on beyond us. and, our children, our memories, and our words. The words we put on paper, the words we put now digitally can last forever. You just never know how it can affect someone generations from now, which is amazing. Your story I just read somebody's, they were putting their grandmother who'd had 10 children and survived all of these incredible things. And they told her story, and, like, mamas, we can get through this. If my grandmother can get through all of these things, then we can get through this. And, that woman is long gone, but her legacy lives on. And that's how we can be too, if we tell our stories.
And I will tell you this, that I think when I met both of you, when I found out that you were both involved in books and book projects, that generationally, my last name is Hunter, and I joke with people that I am a genealogy detective, and my email address, some know that I have a Hunters for You email address, and it's more of a joke. However, in truth, a lot of it is that I have stories from family members that were written back in the day when they were going and they were prospecting land, and that you had to do very little to your own home, to be able to keep the land that you had gotten. And it looks like Jennifer is frozen, so I'm going to take her down from the line and she'll come back. Okay, now she's unfrozen, it looks like. There we go. Okay, so got a bit of a problem with sound. And what I wanted to share was this, is that I was able to learn about a great-great-grandmother because she wrote a story. She told what it was like. She said, they had to make these sacrifices, and she was happy to do it because of, different things. And then she explained what it was like. Dirt floor, she cut it because she was a school teacher. They cut into the ground so far down, and so I could visually see in my mind's eye what it was that they lived in. And from that moment on, I always knew that I wanted to be involved in book projects, in a book. And so that you had these kind of legacy items. And that is what you are all about with the way that you publish your books, right? Susan?
Yeah, I always say I only want things that inspire. That's what I want to publish. That's what I want to put into the world.
And Jennifer, she's frozen again. Okay,
we can hear her.
Okay, there we go. Okay, now you're back. Okay, and the fact that you were able to, in launch, and I thought I had an image, and for some reason I don't, but in the book launch. And you guys look it up. It's Amazon, an Amazon bestseller. I have it. I've read every single one of the stories. They are impactful. Yes. You got your children involved, or actually, Susan, you kind of invited.
Yeah, no, Susan asked.
I did, because they each had such incredible stories. We talked a little bit about both of us having daughters, and actually all three of us having daughters that have gone through some incredible things and have health problems. And her daughter definitely does. And her son, he has an amazing strength and just maturity about him too. That, I could see that. And they were helping. We met at an event, and then I came and participated in an event, and I met her children there, and I was just so impressed with them. They were helping run her entire event, doing all of the behind the scenes stuff that it takes a huge team of people to do at most events, and it was just her children. And I just thought, what an amazing crew she has. And they were just teenagers at the time. Oh, such an amazing event. Jen puts on such incredible events. The people she had are just the highest quality, Tamara quality.
Yeah.
Look how much fun we had. We had a blast. We really did.
Oh, I love this
the best part is our connections. The heartfelt, true, synergistic, absolutely genuine, soul-based group of speakers and people that we bring in. That, you played my video, Tamara, and that was really sweet. But I mean it. When I meet people, I'm not looking for who can fill a space. I'm looking for people who have the heart and the genuine care and concern about another human being. or I just don't bother to be with them. There's a lot of events that will put anyone on a stage, that will put anyone in their television show, anyone in their event, and they just don't care as long as they're, making an impact or they make money off of them. I'm the opposite. You have to make an impact. You have to have a genuine heart. It's very, very soulful. And if you are a true, genuine giver in the world, I think we all naturally connect anyway, but you can see it on the faces in the candid shots throughout. Our amazing photographers, Ken Rashawn, we'll give a shout out to Ken for this last one. And the one before that, I had a different photographer who was really great. And you can see in the genuine shots how much people loved what they were doing, how much fun we had, how much we truly adored each other. And we were all there to lay it on the line. So that's the best part of the events when you do them live. And I found a way that we're going to do the same thing in every book that we do as well. And every television show and every podcast that we do. I found ways to use the technology to really amplify our personalities and our care and our love. So we're going to continue on that piece until we can get back together again. But I'm telling you, it's just right around the corner that we'll be able to be back together again. So
I love it.
I can't wait. But I so love the groups that come together. And I've actually asked in the past, the speakers that I know and love, I put the challenge out to them to go find the people that they love, because I want that like-minded, like-hearted people at the events. And so that's how they come together. You can, give credit to Season, because she helped with a ton of the work and bringing in the right people. And Tamara, you've given me your advice on different speakers that you've seen out in the world. And I ask every one of them, someday I'll have a rating system for them, because there's some I just will not invite back.
Well, and I want to include this picture too, because this was after that event. Yeah. Then in this beautiful historic home, gorgeous historic home and office that we were invited to be in. This is where the very first meeting of the book took place, and kind of like the, okay, what should we do? And kind of like the nuts and bolts of a start of a concept. This was the first concept meeting, right?
Yes. Yeah. It sure was. It was talking about the heart and what we wanted to put into it, some different vision ideas, and just where we were going to go with it. And though it took a little longer, it came to fruition. And again, our amazing publisher pulled it out, and it's done. And we'll see where it goes on Wednesday. And
yes, this is the event where it started for Joel. So glad I met all of you. Totally priceless. We are all going to change and save so many lives. And Joel will be with us on Wednesday, because Joel's story is in there. I've gotten to know Joel really well over the last period of time. And he, not to give it away, but he was in that picture right there. We'll bring it back up. He take his picture right there. He's
right there on the left.
The chair right there. To the left of everybody's screen, there he is. There's Joel. And what a priceless ability to be each story, each person that's out there, like you are saying, with that inspiring story and the heart to share it. And right now, again,
Joel
this event is where it
incredible.
Started for him. Go ahead.
Yeah, Joel's mission is incredible. He is always has such a heart for those who have gone through. He works with, veterans, and he is just amazing. I mean, he had such a heart for people who are going through, health crisis, and are not finding their answers in, just the, with doctors and, et cetera. And he really has such a heart to help people, and especially veterans and with suicide and, there are high numbers, those type of things, PTSD. He's just been really a champion for those people, and also an amazing photographer too.
Yes.
Really?
Well, I'm going to throw out there. last Christmas, so something I do with my kids, we go around and do Christmas caroling for some of them left behind, for some of those that are left behind by families and so on. And I showed up at this one place, and we're caroling, and I look across the room, and there is Joel in the room having dinner with some friends and family, and half the room was veterans. One of them was a World War II veteran, a Japanese man. And I will tell you, the stories and the heart, oh my gosh, just oh my gosh. But, you know, the first time I ever met him, he said he was the professional patient. I didn't understand what that meant. It took me a while to figure out what he was talking about, because when you're in groups, it's busy. But when I sat in that room with him and I saw the love and the genuine care that he had for everyone in the room, and he knew the stories, you really understand that he truly cares so deeply about people's well-being. And he just has a really unique way of looking at things, and I would say a no BS way of approaching them in the nicest, most pleasant way possible, of course. But not everybody.
Absolutely. That's what
you know, it
love
takes a champion like him to want to fight for those that can't fight anymore. And that's what he's become.
Exactly. I'm going to share another little video that I just created, that I know that there's one of the authors that is missing, and we'll talk about that. However, this is a little clip that at least will give an idea of the authors that are going to be sharing their stories on November the 18th, Wednesday. Okay, here we go.
So beautiful.
So incredible, Jennifer. Absolutely. So incredible. And there he is. Aw. Love the roses and the hearts and the strength.
I love it. I love it.
Hoorah. I love it. You know, whenever Joel does any kind of comments, hoorah. I love it. You know, the idea here, and one of the things that I really do want to share, because I think it's very exciting, and with the idea now that we have so many more things that we can do at our disposal, that, you know, you think about the do-it-yourself idea. I mean, not that you want to completely do it yourself. You can self-publish. And I know we've talked about that before, Season, and other shows. However, the fact that nowadays you don't have to send your typewritten, you know, book out to multiple publishers to maybe get someone to write a letter to say, okay, yeah, let's talk. You can get involved in a program, and you can have the control to be able to get your word out there. Now with that, you also, they used to have the whole thing, you know, you watch the different movies, you see the different, you know, and getting ready for the Tour of Love, I have a lot of #1 Billboard artists, music, you know, #1. And that's a big deal to get to that #1 status in their genre: smooth jazz, pop, classical, all the different ones. And there is so much. I just watched a movie about Helen Redding, and it showed in there When I Am Woman, which was the song my mom played every single morning when I was growing up. My brother, he was like, it's amazing I turned out like I did, because we were raised by a single mom that every morning it would loop I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, over and over and over as we prepared to go to school.
That's why you are who you are, Tamara.
Oh.
And so I'm watching this movie as I'm doing the stuff I'm doing in the middle of the night lately, and I watched this a couple of scenes, and it was about opening up to the billboard. Okay, where is she now? 35, yada 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 yada, number one.
Right.
Whoa!
Yeah.
And nowadays that actually means something. It always has with books. However, right now we have more of an ability to actually have the real person out there become a number one, if you will, billboard or best-selling author. And some people are like, that doesn't mean anything. No, it actually does. It means a lot. And to understand, because I've done a little of the research, to understand that in the traditional books, when, New York best-selling author and all of that kind of stuff, a lot of money, guys, was paid. It's not like it was just a matter of, people went out and bought their books.
Yeah.
A lot of money and campaigns were out there, and people are not aware of this because it became accepted. And people, like, okay, it's always been that way. It's always been that way. Well, yeah, it's always been that way. So let's be real. Okay. And now we have the ability, because of the Kindle book, that real people can actually go out there and purchase a real book for a very little money, very little amount. And it really means that in that 24 hours, that book has been, if you will, gotten the vote of the people to be a bestseller. I think that that's an amazing concept. And I really wanted that to be understood, because I don't know that everybody truly understands that, because you hear and you see now all these book launches and stuff, and everybody's like, oh yeah, right. I know that every time I've ever gotten one of those books where I've helped one of my friends to become a bestseller, I've read their book. Yeah. So I know that if they're like a Tamara Hunter, then there's really logistically and in all truth that book is a best-selling book.
Yeah, and if I may I jump in there and just say something, because for my whole life, I've always wanted to be an author. I've always said, when I get old, I will be an author. When I get old, I will tell my story. When I get old, I will blank. And the reason I always thought that was two things. One, it does take a huge amount of money, your own money, to get a best-selling author back in the old days when they could buy anything they wanted. That back then, you guys, was money talks, and they didn't care about anything else. The heart never mattered. If you had the money to put in for the marketing and the advertising and the PR, then you got a best-selling book. It didn't matter about the content, the quality, the impact of the book, so much as how much marketing could you put behind it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, and this is where it becomes very real for everybody, it's social now. It is social interactions. So to get a best-selling author title today, it is organic. So you think about the paid searches on the internet and the organic searches. Everybody wants to be organic SEO, right? Because that means that you're looked at as the true authority, the true person making an impact, the true information, the information that you truly want to go after. And the fact that we've got that, and that Season creates that for us by helping us make sure our stories are impactful and written properly, and all of that, and all of her influence out in the world and all of ours creates the organic best-selling author opportunity for these authors in a way that they don't have to write their own book, which was my biggest fear. When I first had it offered to me to write with Jack Canfield, I was like, oh, I don't have to write my whole book, and I can help get this thing published and get it through, and I get to work with everybody. That's amazing. What a gift. And so when it came to be that I got to work with Season, I got to learn a little bit from the back end. And I had a couple people go, oh, well, you know, it's just, you only have a chapter in the book. And I'm like, let me be really clear with you. That book is more organically impactful and appreciated than any book from back when we were kids that had some guy with a bunch of money that bought and paid for his position on the New York Times. I mean, it's different today. Like, best-selling author in the New York Times is a great thing. Amazon is a great thing, beyond great. But it's much more authentic today than it ever has been, because money no longer carries it. It is social acceptance, social abilities, and it has to be impactful in order for people to genuinely want to buy that book. And so I will give kudos to Season, because she figured that out early on. She made it to where people like me who really do have cool, fun stories to share, and Tamara, yours, and the Joels, and I mean, you name it, we have all, and Craig, and oh my gosh, JoJo, all these stories that need to get out there that we just don't have the time to write an entire book by ourselves, but we can condense it and get something really cool out there so that it is told and it's timeless. And I mean, she created that opportunity for all of us. And so kudos to her for figuring it out. But this type of a book, the collaborative books, are where it's at today, because it really does value who you are and what you've got in it. And it's not easy to get into these books. You have to be invited. And then you have all this scrutiny to get through it. And then you get all your edits back. And if you didn't write it well, they're not gentle about it. So it's you really get to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And so I can't tell you, the process is beautiful and amazing and wonderful, but it's work. It's not easy.
And that's
now what
where,
say you, Season?
and I want to just say before you talk, I want to also say how much I appreciate that. I know you have a team. You have a team of people that you've put together and that have stayed with you and have helped you to put out quality books that you've been able to take on a number of times to bestsellers status and be able to get these stories told, like Launch and others. And I love the fact that when you can come together with quality team members, and when your team stays together, that says a lot about the leadership, that says a lot about the program itself, and that tells a lot about the mission that you're on. So yes, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are right now in regards to this whole process, because we're going to be gathering together with other ones of many of the authors that are in Mastering Your Mountains. Guys, get your calendar out, because Wednesday, the 18th, our launch day, we will be on the Service Hero Show, and we hope to be announcing on the show that we are already at the bestseller status. So please, please have it in your calendar. Yes, if you're one of those late night people, put it with an alarm that at 12:01, November the 18th, we are launching, and we will be blasting that information out. So, Season, you did a lot of research, and we have talked about this before when you've been on the show, that this is a hybrid. You've got a hybrid publishing company, and when it comes to this moment in time, what is your thought about this part of the process?
You know, talking about a hybrid company, the reason that I started Hawaii Way, it was all of those things where I really wanted to put stories out into the world that inspire, but it also was in my own journey. I had submitted a children's book, and I actually had two very well acclaimed, publishing houses that had actually come back to me and said that they were interested. But the more I talked to people, the more I understood how you release all rights, and you get such a minimal amount from them. I mean, and I'm totally for, if you go that direction, it can be a wonderful thing for some people. I really wanted to keep control. I didn't want them choosing my cover. I didn't want to lose all rights to my story, etc. And so I started looking at other avenues, but there was also there's the do-it-yourself almost, which is, how do you do that? And then there was also the they're more just vanity publishing, where you send something in and they just put it together, but they don't do full editing. They don't do a lot of those things. So I really wanted to mesh the best of all worlds. So people would get the most they could out of it. They would get high quality editing, and that I'd be working with them along the process, and they would get to have control and keep the rights to their own story. So that's why I ended up doing this. The way to go about doing the bestseller and what we're doing here, this type of book is one of the most impactful books right now, because people don't have, they have time more than we have had time in some ways, but people want to just download information. They want to have something that impacts them now. And these short stories is something you can pick up. You only have 5-10 minutes, but you can finish a chapter and be inspired and move on with your day. A lot of people have those morning, routines where they want to be inspired, and they can just pick up their phone now, and it's right there on Kindle, and they can just read one chapter. And that motivates them to move forward and to master their own mountains, just like Jen has come up with this concept and this idea, that we all have, every one of us, and there's not anyone in the world right now that doesn't have a mountain, because we are all living through what we're living through right now, and it's 2020, and just that alone is enough to have a big, huge molehill in front of us. And then some people have some cliffs that you have to climb on top of that. So, these can help motivate people. And right now with this, that's tomorrow night, 12:01 tomorrow night. People can log on. They can go on to Amazon. They can look up Mastering Our Mountains. We'll be putting out the links everywhere so they can go directly. We'll be sending out emails, and we'll be texting and PMing people. But please know that you can also just go there yourself. And we have some of the most amazing authors. Kim O'Neill, I see Craig, Veronica, Jojo. Jojo had been in the NFL. He was an NFL player, and what he's doing now, he says, is more impactful in his life. That what he's doing now, working with youth, is his Super Bowl, he said last night. And I just love that. That touched me so much. It's those type of people that are in this book that have the heart. And Kim O'Neill's story and her husband is just phenomenal. That story, what they did and how they inspire people through. That is also a cancer journey. Colleen, same thing, how she just powers through every day with what she is challenged with. But the other thing that we need to mention is that all sales from this launch are going to go to Tamara's charity. So I want to, I don't know if Tamara knew that.
No.
So they're all going, every single dollar that we all of the increase, every bit of that is going to be donated to Chemo Buddies for Life. So everything that we want to do directly. And it says in the book that we want to, we're donating to different charities. All of our authors came together and decided that rather than divvying up profits, they all had that heart that they wanted it to go to charities. And so yours was the chosen one for this first launch. So we're very excited.
I'm going to cry. And in fact, I was just thinking, I'm going to share a video that was just produced for the Tour of Love, because one of the things that I am going to be doing for this is that the book, I'm going to get some of those here, and I'm going to be like signing them and for donations for the Tour of Love for our yes, we will be doing that. And that was part of the reason that we ended up picking this date, and then to find out that it meant so much more to so many people. My heart is just so full. I'm going to share this video that was just created by our board member, our Emmy award-winning director of the event that is taking place again 2 weeks from today. Is kickoff for 36 hours on the web TV, going out there to 80 million screens. Okay, here we go.
What the world needs now is love. In the spirit of the 60s, this 36-hour non-stop event reaching 80 million screens on E360 TV. This is the Tour of Love. Showcasing top Billboard artists, comedians, including the Guinness World Record fastest talker.
Stop. You have set the Guinness Book of World Records.
And special tributes.
What's for supper? Baked possum and sweet potatoes.
A huge cast of talent. We're all coming together to support all those experiencing the impact of cancer. So join us November 30th on E360 TV and a multitude of other platforms. This is your invitation. We're changing lives, changing the world. This is the Tour of Love.
Oh my
Love
God.
it. That was amazing.
Just amazing.
Wow.
We are preparing a huge show, and I'm hoping that by Wednesday, when we have everybody together, I'll be able to make a huge announcement of, we have so many stars that are now coming together, and there's a lot involved to make sure that everything is a green light in every which way. And yesterday I heard 100% one of them is in, and we're just getting the hour of when, and we'll be able to make a big announcement about that, because really when it comes into it, and this is one of the reasons I just love the way that this book has come together, is the fact that we do have so many stories, guys, so many stories that
It's incredible.
if you are facing that 6-letter word, you're going to want to read this book. If you're facing a life that right now, as all of us are, that's been a little bit of a challenge, you're going to want to read this book. There's so many different reasons. And the fact now that you guys are picking the Tour of Love and the charity and for this launch, I can't even say thank you enough, because we are truly making a difference out there in the world. You guys have been with me since nearly the beginning. I appreciate you both so very, very much. Love you both so very much. And it really takes all of us to get out there and make a difference in the world. And I'm going to pass it back to you guys as we close this. What would you like to be able to say today as we prepare for the launch on Tuesday night, the middle of the night, Wednesday, very early, 12:01, Wednesday, November the 18th? What would you like to leave everybody with? Jennifer?
I can talk if she's not able to. I just think 99 cents, that's what the book is going to be posted at.
Right.
You can buy them as Christmas presents. You can, so you can get 3 or 4 or 5 of them and send them out. Or, just what an amazing way that you can already support Chemo Buddies for Life. You can support these amazing authors that are brave enough to put their stories out into the world. You can help this whole team of people become best-selling authors, and you get to be part of that for, less than $1. It's just such an amazing thing to get to be part of. And, when we would appreciate so much the support that can come through Tamara and all that she does, and supporting her. This is her first book. Support Tamara. If you are a fan of Tamara and what she does, let's put out there, get your support out there and just do what you can. 99 cents. It's just amazing how much impact that can have.
I will back that up and say, I usually spend quite a bit of money sending out e-cards and different ebooks for the holidays. This is the worst time of the year for some emotional issues and, suicides and bad things that happen to people over the holidays. And we just came out of COVID. So what I would say is, if you have people you love, if you have people you want to send some love to and some motivation, and somebody is just maybe having a hard day, I like having things like this on hand to be able to send out and send to people and just say, have a great day. But for 99 cents, compared to like the Advent calendar or some of the other things that I typically send out, even these e-cards, I think are $5.99. So this is a great deal for me, and I'm going to use it for that purpose for quite a few people that I know needed the stories. And even if they've never heard of the book, they will open that book up and find something in those chapters that resonates with them. And I think that this is the perfect time of year, as she said, and the perfect opportunity at the perfect price to do it and make a great impact at your nonprofit group. And the things that you're doing are phenomenal. So if we all collaborate, we can really raise the bar together, and we can correct our sadness and pain in our communities by just sharing the love and the heartfelt stories, and remind people that it's time to get back to just being who we truly are.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're going to close for now, guys. Be watching, and be ready to click at 12:01. Wink, wink. Put it in your calendar.
And all day long on November 18th.
Yes. And we're going to be coming together for the Service Hero Show with many of the authors. You'll get to meet them, and you, if you have already purchased your book and read, you'll know who they are, and you'll be excited to be able to see them. All right, until Wednesday, I just am so happy to be doing these with you too, and with all of you. Let's have an amazing Monday. Let's gather together, and on Wednesday, celebrate. Mastering our mountains.
Thanks
all right.
for all your hard work.
Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Bye-bye.